What's up, lords and ladies? Welcome back to another video on this channel. So in today's video, I decided to put together, like requested from many of you guys, a mini series on this channel on how to breed bearded dragons and the whole entire process from finding the right male to finding the right female to having them breed, and then from there the female, how to take care of her throughout her pregnancy to having eggs, basically the whole shebang. I don't know if there's any videos out there on YouTube, so the whole purpose behind this is for educational purposes. You know, if you want to breed on your own, you know, that's up to you. Personally, I don't breed my bearded dragons. I do from time to time have a clutch, but I always make sure that I have good homes. So if you are looking into breeding bearded dragons, make sure you have good intentions behind it, because at the end of the day, there's so many bearded dragons out there that need good homes. So there's more, I guess, bearded dragons in need, and I don't think we need any more bearded dragon breeders, you know, mass producing these amazing creatures. So I truly want all of you guys to be responsible. I am making these videos mostly for you guys out there who want to learn. You know, there's a ton of you who messaged me saying that you would love to see this type of mini series on this channel. Even though you're not going to breed your bearded dragons, you still want to see the process and learn a thing or two. And that was the whole reason why I even bred my bearded dragons to begin with, is because I, you know, kept bearded dragons for 10 plus years, and I've not bred them once. And that was a big learning thing for me, you know, because keeping is one thing, but then breeding and learning more about their body and everything is a whole nother thing. And, you know, even though, you know, I'm not breeding them, you know, anymore, I am still very happy that I did do, you know, what I did and learned a thing or two. So I just want to share that knowledge with you guys, and hopefully you guys do learn a thing or two from this whole thing. So just be responsible with your animals. And if your bearded dragon is, I guess, gravid, either you got it from the pet shop and it just turned out to be gravid, because that happens sometimes, you guys would know exactly what you guys need to do, you know, because I don't know if there's that much information out there on YouTube. And if there is, you know, this is just a refresh. So hopefully you guys enjoy it. Let's start this video. Let's go. Okay, so right here we got my girl Brienne. Now, she has never laid a clutch of eggs, and she has lately been showing a lot of signs of basically developing eggs. And the way that you could tell is that a bearded dragon will basically either will stop eating or want to eat more, and will go in a corner and basically just start scratching. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean she is gonna lay eggs, but that is a big indication that she is building a lot of follicles. Now, follicles are basically could be reabsorbed by the female if basically there is no male present. Sometimes they do lay infertile eggs. So Brienne over here, you know, she's never laid infertile eggs, and she always just reabsorbs them. So what I'm gonna be doing is basically, because she's showing signs, is show you exactly what to look for in a female. So a female of this size is still in the very, you know, in the medium range compared to my other females like BB, Penelope, and all of these other big girls. But because she is a first-time breeder, she's gonna put a lot of weight throughout this pregnancy, and you're gonna see her almost double in size, not because she's pregnant, just because she has this hunger. She eats, but she just doesn't want to eat as much as my other bearded dragons. So what I'm gonna be doing in this video is showing you what you could do for a female to basically get her going and get her more interested in food. So the very first thing is basically selecting her diet. So you want to make sure that her diet is on point. So I have some dubia roaches here that I'm going to basically, you know, be giving her. I do have to get them in packages because, you know, they're illegal here in Canada. But dubia roaches, crickets, superworms, the whole package is just really good for a bearded dragon, especially a female that is basically growing, as well as you want to make sure that she has the proper nutrition like calcium and vitamin D3, because her body is going to go through a big, you know, transition and a bit of stress developing eggs and healthy eggs. You want to make sure that she's well fed and nicely, you know, big. So what you should be doing is giving your bearded dragon some time. The last thing you want to do is get a bearded dragon that is too small and basically breed them. Yeah, you might get a clutch. Maybe you even might get two clutches. A bearded dragon that is too young could get really sick and potentially perish. So the last thing you want to do is breed a bearded dragon that does not have the proper weight size. The recommended weight size really varies, of course, with the bearded dragons, because some bearded dragons are much bigger than others. But this right here is basically a quick Google search when it comes to breeding bearded dragons. You know, what weight is recommended. 18 months old is also the age, because even though they might be big and have the weight size to them, you want to make sure that they're mature enough to even handle that kind of stress. So you don't want to put a young bearded dragon, like mentioned, and just breed them and get babies, because the recovery rate might be a little bit harder. So Brienne here is basically just hitting that mark when it comes to her wanting to breed. She's showing signs, she's putting on weight, and she basically just wants to go at it. So you know, she is one that I might consider breeding, you know, especially if, oh, see, she wants to eat my finger. So definitely make sure that they are at a good, healthy weight. Okay, so now let's talk about the boys. We got Wilbur here. Now this guy has been wanting to get some action with the ladies for the longest time. Now I've noticed that the male bearded dragons, as you can see, they show signs really early on. Wilbur over here, he's younger than Brienne, but he is just ready to go. You know, bearded dragons, and I find that males, when they are, you know, in that need of breeding, they're almost like they have this slim build to them. Wilbur over here has like these muscular arms and everything. He's very slim, and also he has this very slim build, like I mentioned. The last thing you want to do, or the last thing, you know, it's not that there's Wilbur, okay, calm down. Not that there's a bad thing with an overweight male, but most of the times they just don't want to breed. They're a little bit more sluggish and a little bit more lazy. You know, so they just tend to not breed at all, versus someone like this. This guy's like a CrossFit bodybuilder. This guy is just ready to go no matter what you put into it. He's probably breeding this cactus right now as we speak. So you really want your males to be slightly more aggressive when it comes to the head bobs, and normally they will puff up a beard this black and basically paste on the glass, wanting to come out, head bobbing to everything they see. And if you've been following this channel for a good while, you'll know that Wilbur would breed just about anything. He's trying to breed my hand, he's trying to breed, you know, the ladies, he's trying to breed the branches in his enclosure. So this guy is basically ready to go. If I put a female in there, he would basically do the job that he, I guess, needs to do. But the females are what carry the eggs, and they are the ones you know, giving birth and going through much more stress when it comes to it. So you really want to make sure that your females are at a healthy weight, because males are almost ready to go within, you know, a year. Females, they normally take almost 2+ years. So if you are looking into breeding, I guess getting a female would be much smarter, as she would mature, and then getting a male later on to breed. But personally, like mentioned, I only breed quality. I don't try to breed quantity, so I don't mind waiting for a certain project or breeding certain animals. So definitely take that into consideration. Now, I've done a video on male and female behavior when it comes to breeding, and talked a little bit about it. So this is more of a refresh. That way, when I include it in a playlist, it's more, you know, up to date with information. But something that basically I've noticed gets a female going is if you see her with a male. So right now, so you can see, I'm putting Wilbur. Okay, yeah, okay, calm down, dude. All right, so this is sort of a quick introduction between the two. Now this is something I don't normally see breeders do, but this is a quick introduction with Wilbur and Brienne here. So these two are gonna be a breeding couple. So this is the very first introduction. I don't want to put her in there stressing her out, as well as she still has a little bit more weight to put on, maybe a couple more feedings, and then she'll be basically ready to go. But this is the very first thing that I do. For the first few months, I basically get the male, I guess, going. I don't want to stress him out too much. I don't want to stress her out as well by putting them in there and just basically going at it, because he would actually just basically breed her, and it would just be really aggressive, and that would hurt the female more than it would do good, especially with the very first breeding. It's very simple when it comes to bearded dragons when they're like this. You basically just put them in and breed them, but for me, it's almost that build-up. You want to make sure that they're slow, that they get to know each other. They go on their first date, and gentlemen. So this is basically like their first date, the first time they ever see each other. You want to make sure that you do this to just make sure that they're both okay. If I see Brienne basically attacking him and he's attacking her, it could get really bad, and they will end up fighting and not breeding. So you definitely don't want to just put a bearded dragon in there, because they could actually do a lot more harm than good. So this is a good start. Wilbert did show some dominance. He did want to breed. Brienne wasn't freaking out. She basically was like, okay, yeah, like this guy's a handsome boy. I kind of want to see what's up. But because she's not 100% at the weight that I want her to be, I'm gonna make sure that she gets a couple more feedings in before I basically have them breed for the first time. So hopefully you guys stick around for the next few videos that I basically put out talking about this whole breeding process. The very first step is just making sure that your bearded dragons are healthy enough, up to weight, that they both are ready to breed. Brienne is showing signs. Wilbur over here is also showing signs. So they're almost ready to go. I would say in a week or two, they are gonna have, their very first love interaction, I guess. Wilbur over here is excited, I guess. So I'm giving Brienne some dubia roaches to help out with this whole thing, this whole process. She's gonna be putting on weight really fast. Now this isn't her enclosure. This is gonna be, I guess, the breeding enclosure. It has a light and everything. It has nothing inside of the enclosure, which I guess is good because they can't, run around and hurt themselves. So this enclosure throughout the day is empty. But for now, I'm feeding her in here. That way she could have a meal. So you want to make sure that your bearded dragons are healthy. They put on some weight before you even breed. Like I said, she is showing signs, but I yet don't feel that comfortable with her basically breeding, as she is still pretty young. And because she's showing signs, and it's not that she's underweight or anything, she's at a healthy weight, but I want her to have a little bit extra more stored fat, a little bit more size to her. That way, when she starts developing eggs, everything goes smoothly and she doesn't lose too much weight. Because if I was to breed her right now, she would be perfectly fine and give birth to the eggs, and the eggs would be fine. But her, on the other hand, she might take a little bit more longer to recover. So I don't want her to be, stressed out in her recovery and then get ill from there. So you want to make sure your bearded dragons are mature and have a good size and good weight to them. So that's what this whole video, the very first video on breeding bearded dragons, is about. So right now, what I'm going to be doing is continue feeding her in the upcoming weeks. So stay posted for video number 2. Hopefully by then she has put on size. I'm not going to power feed her or anything. I'm just going to be giving her a little bit more extra, I guess, loving, a little bit more extra dubia roaches, hornworms. So I'm just going to make sure that she is ready to go. So if you do notice that your bearded dragons are showing signs and scratching on the sides and everything, that means that they're building follicles. So that, if you're looking to breed, that's a good sign. As well as when you see that, that's when you basically want to, step up the food game. Right now, she's been at a good, you know, weight and everything. But now, because I'm seeing signs of her wanting to lay eggs, I'm providing that extra bit of nutrients for her. So hopefully you guys learned a thing or two in this video. Definitely stay posted. I'm excited to share more information when it comes to breeding. Hopefully next video on this series would basically be her, you know, putting on that weight and showing you that, you know, hey, like within a couple weeks she almost doubled in size because she's building follicles and also eating a little bit extra, and hopefully then we could now begin the process of breeding. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I'm Lord of the Lion. This is Brienne. Wilbert's up on top looking at me, but keep the blood pumping, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace.
You gotta hit that notification, hit that notification, hit that notification button, baby. You gotta hit that notification, hit that notification.